only been on the bench the other night. Fikayo Tomori is on the bench. Amidst talk that he could be making a loan move to Everton. Chelsea heading the ball down. Reece James, who was so impressive the other evening. James plays it infield, but Liverpool win it back, centre field. Now here's Wijnaldum. Out to the left-hand side. Robertson swings the ball into the back post, and Alonso is there to imperiously get up high and chest the ball back to goalkeeper Kepa.
Yeah, Robertson was just trying to swing that one in to the far post where you see Mo Salah was coming in, but Alonso, cool as you like, gets it back to his keeper.
Lovely touch from Jorginho to give it to Kovacic. And now Werner's away down the left-hand side, cutting in from the left flank. Werner's ball is blocked by Alexander-Arnold, comes out to Alonso. Alonso turns, rolls the ball back to Kovacic. Did you see that little chip from Jorginho in between the two Liverpool players inside his own half to find Kovacic? That was cheeky.
It was risky.
It was risky. Risky and cheeky. Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0. Alonso to Werner. Fabinho comes across. Werner now approaching the penalty area. Takes him on inside the box. Fabinho stands up strong. The two players come together, and that is given by Paul Tierney as a free kick to Liverpool for Werner's challenge.
Yeah, that's where Werner wants to be. He was coming in to Liverpool's box on the corner of the box from the left-hand side, taking on Fabinho. One trick, Fabinho took it. Second trick, he took it. And then Fabinho just got his body in the way of the ball and just eased Werner out of it. Werner had to foul him, but you know the nous of Fabinho not to take the trick.
So this is interesting from a Chelsea point of view, positionally. The fact that Werner started off on the left-hand side and Havertz playing more centrally and Mason Mount out on the right-hand side. Now, Trent Alexander-Arnold has looked a little rusty in the opening matches, both for Liverpool and for England. And Werner's been put in there on Fabinho's side as well, his side of central defence. So that is certainly an area to watch. But Liverpool, it is coming forward. Ball with Manning out there on the left-hand side. Comes back infield for Wijnaldum and Keita. And then across to Salah after his opening hat-trick on the first day last weekend, Mo Salah. And up through the middle to Firmino. Firmino, who scored both home and away against Chelsea last season. Indeed, they played each other 4 times, if you remember, in the Super Cup when we were in Istanbul all those months ago when Liverpool won that match on penalties. Sadio Mane scored 2 goals in that game. Alexander-Arnold curling the ball forward, but Kepa comes and is able to claim that quite comfortably. Liverpool won both matches in the Premier League last season, memorably the 5-3 right at the end of the campaign. And Chelsea were winners here in the FA Cup when Ross Barkley, who is on the bench this afternoon, scored a very good goal. Ball's out of play for a throw into Chelsea, halfway inside their own half, and Reece James will throw it back to Christensen.
Yeah, they're making the pitch incredibly big. Reece James taking a throw in there to Christensen. And Alonso on the left side of the pitch, heels right on the chalk, trying to make the pitch as big as possible, because if Liverpool want to do their little high press, their little high squeeze, they're going to have to cover some ground. On this occasion, Chelsea have got out through some good football.
Yep, and that's what they're doing now. Dion Dublin with us, England international, Golden Boot winner on this 5 Live Premier League Sunday. World Service are with us as well, and indeed the second of 3 commentaries today. We've still got Leicester Burnley to come tonight, which you'll also be able to watch on BBC One if you're on your way home this evening, or indeed if you're already at home. Here's Van Dijk playing the ball to the left-hand side to Robertson. Robertson goes for the early ball, but he's overhit that by an absolute distance, and it will bounce harmlessly through into the hoardings now for a goal kick to Chelsea. Lovely warm afternoon as well.
It is nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
I made my way up the stairs. Well, I don't know how many stairs there were. I was following my boss, Mr. Southall, today.
Yes.
Up the stairs, and we were both breathing very heavily as we came. Oh no, John's pointing me saying, no, I wasn't, Dion, you were. I wasn't. Thanks very much for that, John. Cheers.
Nice. John was really in peak condition.
Yes, that's probably why I was.
Yes. You'll hear John's interviews, hopefully, with Frank Lampard and Jurgen Klopp during 606 later with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. Don't miss that. Robertson clears the ball away, it bounces back. Van Dijk lifts the ball high out towards the Liverpool right, where Alexander-Arnold chests it down, and then it's poked out of play by Kovacic for a throw into Liverpool. Yes, don't miss the interviews in 606 after last week's events, when Rob Mothman went straight from Carlo Ancelotti to a rather prickly Jose Mourinho. Here's Van Dijk with the ball inside his own half, plays it across to Fabinho. Frank Lampard, black t-shirt on, just wags a finger, and then Henderson, long pass down the left-hand side for Robertson, and a touch, an important touch in there. Mason Mount following Robertson all the way back and getting a touch to put it out of play just a few yards away from the corner flag on the Liverpool left.
Yeah, Chelsea are wanting to go with the high press, but because there's new bodies in the side, Frank's having to tell them when to go and when not to go, and they're just figuring it out. Havertz and Mount.
Mane to the byline, managed to get in there but pulled it back and it was cleared away by Zuma, who came across, and then Mount can't keep the ball in on the far side. I think it might have dropped out of play actually before Mason Mount got a touch. 0-0, very early stages, and Fabinho starting off again, shaven headed in the centre circle. Again goes to his left to Van Dijk, and then Henderson to Keita, quite a deep lying position, then through the middle. Firmino has dropped rather deep. Keita 10 yards inside the Chelsea half now. Van Dijk's going to join in, and there's space, and he plays it into the space for Robertson, whose low cross to the edge of the area is cleared away by Jorginho, who comfortably got there and was able to clear it away. Van Dijk with it again on the left-hand side. Robertson once more. Robertson going round the outside, and his cross is blocked by James behind for a corner. First of the match to Liverpool.
Yeah, just see Van Dijk there, just slipping that ball in between Reece James and Christensen, leaving it in that space for Robertson. And you're just saying, cross that ball first time, and that's when you need your forwards getting across your defenders. Got cut out of the near post on that occasion, but Liverpool have got a corner.
Corner from the left flank for Liverpool. And Robertson to take this. Lots of movement in the box. Comes into the near post and is headed away quite comfortably for Chelsea by Havertz. However, it finds its way back to Robertson. And then Robertson's cross is blocked at source. Werner plays the ball beyond Keita. Just nipped it away from him as he was arriving. Kante it was, I beg his pardon. But then the ball that he played ahead of himself towards the halfway line gave the possession back to Van Dijk, and then a long crossfield ball from Alexander-Arnold, which is going absolutely nowhere other than out of play next to the corner flag for a goal kick. So that's Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0. I mentioned our earlier commentary match, Brighton 3-0 winners at Newcastle. Southampton 2, Tottenham 5 was the final score in the very early kick-off. Leicester Burnley to come. It finished Hibs 2, Rangers 2, Stoke City 0, Bristol City 2, Rochdale 0, Portsmouth 0 is the latest score in the day's match in League One. And I'll get you the Aberdeen Motherwell score as well in a moment or two, which was a 3 o'clock kickoff. Here's Havertz for Chelsea. Then back it goes to Christensen, who turns and plays it back to Kepa. Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 3 is still the latest score, with just over 10 minutes to play at Pittodrie. Kepa with the ball on the edge of his 6-yard box, just moves the ball to the right. Yet to get going, Dion.
Yeah, it's pretty stagnant at the moment.
Yeah, it is.
Both sides trying to keep it, but both sides squeezing really well, so both sides making mistakes. It's bizarre at the moment.
Yeah.
All the games being played in the middle third of the pitch.
They're showing one another plenty of respect, as I think we say in these circumstances. Here's Salah. He's actually dropped deep, almost to the halfway line, Salah, to pick up the ball. Gives it to Henderson. Now Mane to the left-hand side. There is space again on the left for Robertson. They're very congested in the middle. Uses Mane. Ball bounces to Firmino. Now back to Mane again. Mane tried to play it across the edge of the penalty area. Cleared away by Alonso. But Alexander-Arnold was quickly onto that. And now Salah wins a throw-in off Alonso. Next to a shard of bright sunlight, which is right across about a quarter of the pitch down there. Alexander-Arnold, in fact, he almost looks like he's in the spotlight with the sun shining on him down there. He's got a glow about him. Takes the throw into the penalty area. Salah now in the box. Went down. Referee Tierney's having none of that. Salah, I'm not sure whether there was any contact. If there was, it was slight. But he was down on the floor.
Yeah, referee was having none of it. Arms across his thighs, bending down. Crosses his arms, opens his arms, as if to say no chance.
No. So it is 0-0 and Liverpool going all the way back to Alisson and the goal down to our left. Mention the fact that they played each other 4 times last season. This is the most played fixture in English football this century. It's the 64th time they've played each other since the year 2000 started. Here's Firmino. Firmino now to the right-hand side to Salah. Salah into the box on his left foot and then moves back out of the box, plays it across for a curling low shot from Wijnaldum, which was comfortably wide of Kepa's right post, dived to the ground even though he knew it was wide by 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, he was off balance there. Just couldn't really wrap his foot around it. I think Mo Salah wanted him to hit that with a bit of pace, but he just didn't get it right on that occasion. Very cagey opening.
Very.
A few minutes as well, and goal kick now. Kepa's put the ball right in the middle of the 6-yard box, and right in line with the penalty spot.
Yes. Werner is the intended target for this. Still out on the left-hand side, Dion.
Yeah, I think they'll be on odd occasions where, after 20, 25 minutes, they might have a think about swapping over with, Mount, maybe.
That looked like a handball by Havertz. It was, says referee Tierney. Thinking as well last week of the goal that Harrison scored for Leeds when he cut in from the left-hand side past Alexander-Arnold and Gomez. Maybe Frank Lampard's looking for that sort of thing as well. Spotting the possible fallibilities of Liverpool, who did concede goals in the latter part of last season. Just one clean sheet in their last 9 matches, Liverpool, in all competitions. 0-0. Kepa chipping the ball out. James backs right onto the white line, chests it down, plays it calmly infield to Jorginho. Chelsea, then James clears the ball into Henderson. It ricochets right across the penalty area. Kepa's come wide. Salah plays it across. Firmino's in the middle, and there had to be a crucial block there from Christensen, who went with Firmino into the 6-yard box and blocked his goal-bound effort wide of the post. And that is a let-off for Kepa, who would have been rather embarrassed if that had ended up in the back of the net.
Yeah, it was a pretty bizarre ricochet that went towards Kepa, then it went out towards the corner flag with the ball spinning as it did, and he found himself in no man's land, but got away with it on this occasion. Great defending from Christensen.
We'll come back to that, but Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0. BBC Radio 5 Live. Alexander-Arnold to take this corner from the right-hand side into the penalty spot, and then the shot from Wijnaldum is sliced back right to the right-hand side to Alexander-Arnold, who takes it down, plays it into the back post, and Kepa stretching high makes the catch.
Is that one two? Is that one two?
How bizarre.
Oh dear. It is one of those games which I've seen many times, where both sides are trying to do the right thing, but both sides are defending so well and working so hard to stop the opponents.
Just to explain that, it was the 1-2 was the corner from Alexander-Arnold. Found its way to Wijnaldum, who sliced it.
back out to the corner.
Back out to the corner. Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0. And I'm already thinking of the fact that twice on air today I've made reference to the fact that no one's expecting a 0-0 draw from this game. The ball played over the top of Havertz, but it bounces straight out of play for a throw into Liverpool in the right back area. So Alexander-Arnold trots across to take this. Mentioned the fact that it's 115 years ago this month since the first football match was played at Stamford Bridge, which obviously looked very different there, as well as it being a trial match. That was obviously the first use of football programmes in that on that day at Stamford Bridge, and ball boys. And it was played out in front of around about 5,000 people. Here's Henderson.
What they would do for 5,000 people today.
5,000 people back in 1905. 2020, only the people directly involved in the club and us in the media. Here's Fabinho to Keita. Fabinho just inside his own half, then goes back to Van Dijk, puts his foot on the ball, thought about the long pass, then apologises that he didn't send it the way of Sadio Mane. Quarter of an hour played, and Fabinho overhits his pass over the top for the run of Salah, and that bounces through for a goal kick.
Yeah, there's been on a few occasions where the fullbacks have pushed on, and the two centre halves of both sides have looked to play the crossfield ball. They've got it wrong early on in the start of the game, and they're not risking it. They're going straight ball, straight run. It doesn't work. You have to go crossfield.
Werner on the halfway line heads the ball back to Alonso, then Werner lays it into the path of Havertz. Havertz now into the centre to Mount, and now Kante's inside the area on the right hand side, but Kante, when he might have had a go at goal, was suddenly surrounded by 3 red shirts and turned and played the ball back out of the penalty area to Jorginho.
He looked so uncomfortable there, Kante. He was in as well. He was only 15 yards on the angle. left-hand side of Alisson's goal, and he wouldn't take the shot on. He just wasn't comfortable. Why? Because he was coming across his body on his right foot. You've got to take the shot on there. You well-created chance, and he failed to take the shot.
Just came into mind there is Chelsea with that sort of move. You know, whoever's been the manager, you'd normally expect to see someone like Hazard or William popping up in that position and having a good goal.
See, the thing is with that situation there is that you want that calibre of player getting in that situation, but he wants to get there all the time. He works so hard, Kante, and if he's going to, work so hard to get there, he should really give himself a chance of scoring a goal.
0-0. Van Dijk is playing the ball across back to Fabinho, who's seen an awful lot of the ball, Fabinho, in the opening quarter of an hour. Henderson curls a long one forward. Alonso hooks it away. Salah was closest to him. Then Henderson gets in there first. The offside flag is up against Sadio Mane, and it's a free kick to Chelsea in front of their own penalty area. And Chelsea take this short. Christensen looks up. Kovacic comes short. First time he's been able to be involved this season after his rather unfortunate sending off for a second yellow card, which was putting it mildly in the FA Cup final. Kovacic, so he missed the match at Brighton on Monday night. Ball's out of play for a throw-in on the far side of the field in front of the West Stand. Normally you would have the great and the good, wouldn't you, sitting up there in the soft seats. And the director's box, there must be 12 people, maybe, all socially distanced, sitting there in the soft seats in the middle tier as Liverpool, with Henderson, have it back, plays it forward. But that's blocked away by Jorginho. Now here's little Kante onto the ball, over the halfway line, drifts around Fabinho, plays it back across, but Fabinho got back into position and prevented it with his shins from reaching either of the Germans, Werner or Havertz, both on their home debuts. And Werner yet to have a sniff of goal. He's had one run at Fabinho so far. Here, though, it's Liverpool coming forward with Salah, 25 yards out, now to the edge of the area, shoots, blocked away, hit the back of a defender. There were two or three, actually, who just converged together, and Chelsea actually are aware on the counter-attack, and the ball is played forward by Kovacic, and Werner now, Werner off to the edge of the penalty area, Liverpool players getting back, Werner takes on Fabinho, who did well. Fabinho won the ball back, and Werner throws up his hands, looks to the skies above Stamford Bridge. Well done, Fabinho.
Yes, he didn't take the dummy at all. Fabinho, he was concentrating, making sure he didn't take the dummy. Werner had one thing on his mind, that was trying to go on the inside of him on his right foot. Fabinho wasn't having it at all. Great defending, very good concentration, but Chelsea have got out 2 or 3 times now down this left-hand side.
Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0 is the score. Still Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 3. Still Rochdale 0, Portsmouth 0 in the matches that are currently underway. Leicester against Burnley to come. Conor McNamara and Karen Carney will be at the King Power Stadium. You'll be able to listen to them on 5 Live if you're out and about. You can listen, of course, via 5 Live on the BBC Sounds app, and indeed you can watch the whole thing. It's on BBC One from 6:45, and if you wish you can listen to the 5 Live commentary via the red button and continue to watch the pictures if you like doing that sort of thing. Thrown to Liverpool, 3/4 of the way up the left hand side. Robertson, I mentioned the ball boys in 1905, there weren't any there, so Robertson had to go and get the ball back himself and takes the throw back towards Van Dijk on the halfway line. Now Fabinho, Keita has dropped very deep, and actually the ball goes all the way back to the bearded Alisson, who's standing 10 yards outside his penalty area, but no press here. Eventually the ball is played out by Alisson to Keita, who then finds Kovacic closing him down. So Liverpool with Fabinho. Henderson comes across, takes the ball away from Fabinho, and Alexander-Arnold. This is very, very patient stuff from Liverpool. I don't think I've made a single note in terms of a goal-scoring opportunity.
There hasn't really been any.
So back it goes to Alisson again, on the edge of his penalty area. And Alexander-Arnold does likewise. In fact, I think if there was a crowd in here this afternoon, 1 or 2 might be just tempted to have a little spot of shut eye on this lovely warm afternoon.
It can't be that bad.
It's not spectacular. by any means.
Well, there's been no clear-cut chances at all. The goalkeeper's kits are spotlessly clean.
Yes.
Defenders have quashed everything. So far, the two centre-halves have been very, very good on both sides. And nothing's really been created.
Chelsea with the ball in their penalty area. Kepa chips it away to the left-hand side. Alonso takes the ball down. Alonso, whose position, of course, will be under some threat from Ben Chilwell once he's fit. But Alonso, so good coming forward. Ball played across by Reece James, who I think used the top of his right arm, but you can do that to control the ball, brings it down. And Chelsea have it again in front of their penalty area with Zuma. Unusually amongst the goal scorers of the evening, Kurt Zuma. He was a little fortunate though. Here is Christensen, now to Kovacic, and then Jorginho, who started the ball rolled in with the penalty the other evening. Now Alonso, infield towards Kai Havertz, and then Kovacic goes for his blow over the top for the run of Mount, who was at full tilt there, stuck out a right foot, but couldn't get any contact on the ball, and it bounced through to goalkeeper Alisson. But that was a little more like it.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was very much they passed slow, then they passed quickly, and they just got through that line of red players, and then they played that ball into Mount. It was just a yard ahead of him. Like I've said before, it was a diagonal ball, it was a diagonal run, and it worked. Just been a bit pedestrian, both sides have, but if they can go a little bit quicker, they'll get openings.
We weren't expecting to use that word, were we, Jim?
Not in this game.
Thought we'd keep that in the locker. Here's Alexander-Arnold. Now to Salah inside the penalty area. Then Alexander-Arnold takes it on and pulls the ball across, but it's blocked inside the 6-yard box by Christensen, who came across. And the closest that we've come to an opening goal, in fact, really the one moment of true excitement, was that strange ricochet across the penalty area when it was played back across, and Firmino saw his effort blocked around the post by Christensen. That was worth making a note, so I think I'll do that now.
Yes, while you're making that note, I want to see more of Robertson and Trent. They're normally the ones that are creating the chances for Liverpool. They haven't had enough of the ball in the final third in order to create chances.
Liverpool with Wijnaldum. The foot was high as the challenge came in from Jorginho, even though Wijnaldum himself was jumping high, but the foot was high from Jorginho, so it's a free kick to Liverpool. In a decent position, out on the right-hand side, Henderson is there, Alexander-Arnold as well, Salah with the hair quite significantly shorter this season, as I'm sure you'll have noticed. Trots into the D, didn't do anything to his goal-scoring powers last weekend. Salah is actually walking right across to the far side of the line of players, just outside the Chelsea penalty area. It is Alexander-Arnold who plays it into the back post, and it's headed up and away for Chelsea by Zuma. Havertz can't keep possession for Chelsea, and then it's blocked out of play for a Liverpool throw over there on the far side, halfway inside the Chelsea half.
It's a very, very good cross as well from Alexander-Arnold, just in that area where you want one of your teammates to be coming in, thundering in, trying to make it his, but no red shirt on that occasion anywhere near it. Easily cleared by Chelsea.
Yeah, and after all of the thrills and spills over the course of yesterday and already today, in the Premier League this weekend so far, 31 goals this weekend in the 6 matches that have been played.
Well, there's a good 4 or 5 in this yet, John, don't worry.
4 or 5?
Yeah, don't worry about that.
I'll make a note of that.
Make a note of that.
Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0. Throw-in for Chelsea over the top of Werner, and then Havertz is just looked after by Henderson, who comes across. And the ball is whipped forward towards the edge of the area, but Christensen got up, got his head to it, headed out to the far side. Sadio Mane is there. Mane now up against James. Mane kills the ball close quarters to Wijnaldum on the edge of the box. Kante's in there. Kante wins it back from Wijnaldum, and then Werner does well. Still 15 yards inside his own half. Then a long ball played by Mount. This is for Havertz to race through the middle. But Trent Alexander-Arnold has dealt with his threat and plays it forward towards Salah. A little uncertain there for a moment from Kurt Zuma, who was not quite sure where Salah was, but hooked the ball away to the halfway line, where Liverpool win a throw-in.
Yeah, he had to do that, I think. Zuma wasn't sure on the whereabouts of Salah. So just play safe, clear your lines, get your team up the pitch.
Just a little change, Dion. Havertz has come out here to the left-hand side. Yeah. Werner now through the middle.
Yeah. They're always going to do. They're such good players that they will, and they would have been told by the manager, listen, if you feel like you want to have a bit of a change, feel free to do so, but make sure the positions have been filled. I don't mind who the personnel are, just do your job.
I'd like to have seen more of that when Chelsea had more of the ball.
Yes. Yeah, that's a fair enough point, but Liverpool were quashing everything they were throwing at them, and vice versa.
So Werner now through the middle and Havertz to the left-hand side. Here's Alexander-Arnold playing the ball down into the Chelsea left-back area. Zuma comes across and chips it out of play for a throw-in to Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp buries his hands deep in the pockets of his grey tracksuit bottoms. Frank Lampard does likewise. Throw in. Alexander-Arnold takes it to Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum under pressure just stabs the ball forward. Zuma wants that ball to run over the dead ball line and then actually just sort of moves into the way of Salah and allows it to bounce behind for a goal kick to Chelsea. You know that match that I mentioned, that original game in 1905, Dion, the original report said that the crowd cheered as 8-year-old Gussie kicked the leather and then sprinted off to take his seat in the grandstand, his portly father hurrying after him without ever quite breaking into a run.
Oh, dude.
I didn't expect to be reading that out.
So many jokes.
Yes.
Portly. What a great word that is, portly.
Can't say that now. You could in 1905.
There you go.
Ball's out of play for a throw-in to Liverpool after James rather sliced it. And the game's been played at walking pace.
It is, and I don't know if this is a conscious thing by Christensen and Zuma, but there's been the odd occasion where Zuma has had the chance to play back to Kepa, but he's decided to clear his lines instead of. Whether they're not confident in Kepa keeping the ball, I'm not too sure, but it's very, very clear to see they do not want to use the keeper as much as they normally would.
Liverpool with the ball on the halfway line. Liverpool, it feels, have had a great deal more of the possession than Chelsea. As Alexander-Arnold, left-footed, goes for a high ball right across towards the left. Robertson back to the halfway line, chests the ball down. James went all the way with him there. Then Van Dijk back to Robertson, plays it in towards Keita. Then quickly Jorginho is on the scene up against Keita, but Liverpool keep possession. Mane in a very tight space there, plays the ball infield and then finds Jorginho clattering into him, so it's a free kick to Liverpool out towards the left-hand side. Yep, Liverpool 52% possession, Chelsea 48, so not a great deal in it. Fabinho passes the ball through to Alexander-Arnold, just to the right of the centre circle, and then Henderson there. Henderson back to Van Dijk. Half an hour played. Still 0-0 here at Stamford Bridge, and barely a chance to speak of. Kante brings the ball down. That was hit to him at some pace, but got the ball down, but then Liverpool are all over him. And they are effectively cancelling each other out.
Yeah, they are.
Systems.
Yeah, they are, because both teams are working so hard that, like I've said, the game's been played in this middle third of the pitch, 20 yards either side of the halfway line, and every time a blue shirt or a red shirt gets it, they get closed down so quickly, they end up giving the ball away.
Match like this, it's one of those rare occasions since football restarted where actually the atmosphere that we've got inside the ground, i.e. virtually nothing, is fitting. Ball played over the top by Salah, headed away on the edge of the box. Werner then gets a fortunate bounce of the ball back to him. Werner now running away from Alexander-Arnold, who's after him. Fabinho comes across, forces Werner to take it wide, and then Mason Mount gets the ball at his feet and turns and plays it back, and Liverpool very quickly back in position there. Everyone back to their familiar roles. Kovacic now, Chelsea's player of the season last season, Mateo Kovacic. Back to Jorginho, who finds Alonso down the left-hand side, but Alonso back to Zuma, and Kurt Zuma plays it infield towards the Dane, Christensen. We've got another big Dane just behind us, Dion. Jan Molby is here for Danish television.
What a player he was, by the way.
Great summariser as well. Many times he's worked with this great company, Jan. Here's Alonso, plays the ball across towards the right-hand side. James takes it down. James plays the ball across and it's cleared away by Robertson. Out of play. Lands on the yellow steps of the West Stand on the far side. That's very close to where the absolutely enormous television platform is there in the lower tier of the West Stand. Not sure what they're going to talk about at half time on there.
Maybe they'll have to use your note.
What about that? Yes, Christensen's block from Firmino. I think that will get a lot of replay. Chelsea with the ball on the halfway line. Christensen gives it to Kovacic. And then Chelsea, I think it's Christensen. No, it didn't again. They don't go back to Kepa. Ball makes its way forward towards Kante, and then Werner, but Fabinho very close to him, bounces back to Werner, but he's going to try a left foot shot, which bounces narrowly wide of Alisson's left post.
Wasn't too far away that, actually. He didn't look balanced, actually, when he took the shot. Werner's heading towards the D, and he's on his right foot. He drags it onto his left, just to the corner of the D, and he didn't catch it right at all, but he did have Alisson scrambling. I think he caught Alisson off guard there. It wasn't a great strike. Didn't really trouble Alisson in the end, but that's the only chance we've had.
It wasn't far wide. That was about a foot wide when it bounced wide. Alisson, I think, knew it was going wide, but it wasn't far away. Chelsea's first opportunity of any sort, really. Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0. BBC Radio 5 live from Stamford Bridge, sun-drenched Stamford Bridge. Here's Alexander-Arnold curling the ball into the 6-yard box. Kepa comes, gets a punch on that, punched it out into the full-back position where it rolls out of play for a throw-in 10 yards away from the corner flag.
Listen, we are a long way away from Kepa and that cross, but it just looked like he flapped. He didn't really get a good, strong punch. Good strong hand on it, not convincing from where we are.
You're right, Dion, it just didn't look convincing, did it? You felt that could have gone anywhere. And Sadio Mane was over there on that far side of the field. Liverpool continuing to push Chelsea back, and actually Christensen, under pressure from Mane, hooked the ball away from the dead ball line, but it was already behind for a Liverpool corner from the left. So Liverpool send up Fabinho and Van Dijk, who are just arriving now near the penalty spot, and Firmino in between them, and Mane in there as well. Here's the delivery from Robertson, but Zuma gets up really well actually and heads that ball away to comparative safety. Liverpool take up possession again though. Alexander-Arnold, Robertson's making a run. Alexander-Arnold plays it over the top. Robertson target. In fact, Salah's there, and Salah drives it right across the 6-yard box and through and ahead of everyone inside the 6-yard area. Firmino was closest to getting a touch for Liverpool, and it's out for a throw.
Yeah, just a yard away, just on their heels there. The forwards of Liverpool, Firmino, Mane just couldn't get on the end. A great little ball across the box from Salah. 4 yards across the box. He just went all the way across the 6-yard box. Nobody touched it.
Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0. With half-time 10 minutes away, when we will have further reflections on the earlier matches. Tottenham's big win, 4 goals for Son in that one. Certainly the goal scorers, many of them are off and running this season. And hat-trick for Calvert-Lewin yesterday, so he's got 4, Son's got 4, Salah's got 3. Jamie Vardy's got
got 2
couple of goals, yeah.
The golden boot chasers are off and running.
Yeah. Harry Kane with 4 assists and a goal in the Southampton game. And Brighton 3-0 winners against Newcastle in our earlier match. Here, Liverpool with Alexander-Arnold. Back centrally to Wijnaldum, forward of the centre circle. Still plenty of questions about whether Wijnaldum will remain a Liverpool player. He's into the last year of his contract. Here is Salah. Thiago is on the bench, incidentally. We might see him in the second half, the new signing, or one of the new signings. Firmino just on the edge of the box, Alonso away. Henderson curls it in. Robertson at the back post hits the ball into the ground, and it bounces wide off the near post from his angle.
Yeah, just wasn't sure what Robertson was going to do here. It was Henderson. It was rolled back to Henderson on the right wing, kind of level with the 18-yard box, right on the corner of the box, and he just left it into that period, that little area there. 4 posts for Robertson coming in from the left, and I'm thinking, is he going to go laces? Is he going to go side foot? He kind of went neither and caught it on his studs. It went into the ground and then it went over the bar. I'm thinking, Robertson, get this with your laces, catch it beautiful. The pace is on the cross already, and hit the target, and you've got every chance. But he kind of got he didn't quite get it right, the technique on that occasion.
Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0. Goal kick, which Chelsea have effectively made a mess of. Kepa passed it out to Zuma. and under pressure, they've conceded a throw-in. Firmino, Henderson all action. Salah curls it high into the box. Christensen was there to head it away for Chelsea. And then, Timo Werner very nearly flicked the ball away from Fabinho. He had a long way to go, but Fabinho just got something on that.
This is Chelsea Liverpool we're watching, isn't it, at the moment? Because it's just so bitty.
Chelsea coming forward with Kante over the halfway line, plays it forward. Havertz looked as though he was offside. Havertz plays it across. Werner in the middle, steers it wide, and the flag does go up. Havertz was in an offside position.
Yes, he was. He was at least 2 yards offside, and we know that the linesmen have to do that. They keep their flag down. The referee waits, and we all have to go back and have a look at it again. But we could have done that 5 seconds ago. Let's get the game moving.
Yeah. But did you sit in on the briefings before the start of the season?
Yes, I did.
So the instruction is very clear now this season, and for anyone who's listening and wondering why the flag doesn't go up, that is the instruction to the assistants to wait with the flag and allow the play to be completed. So that is what Dan Cook and Konstantin Hatzidakis, the assistants, will be doing here, as will the rest of them.
See, I don't know who that benefits. I don't know what that rule or who that rule benefits, to be honest with you.
Well, I think the feeling is that when it comes to the tight decisions, it's best to see the move completed and then bring it back to VAR. But, Dion, the other one I think is, who is it exactly who has decided that there needs now to be quite the crackdown on goalkeepers moving off the line?
Yes.
Penalties.
Yes.
But clearly they have, as David De Gea well knows. Firmino to Robertson, and then Mane allows the ball to run, but Jorginho was there. Jorginho puts in the challenge and then follows into the second challenge on Wijnaldum. But Chelsea have still got it. Forward they come. Here's Werner on the left-hand side. Tall, fair-haired Werner, whereas Kai Havertz has gone back into the central position. You're right, they only saw him before the game. Kai Havertz, he is quite tall. He's well over 6 feet.
Yeah, he's rangy, and I think he suits being down the middle more than he does out wide. Assured touch, doesn't mind playing with the game with his back to play as well.
Havertz, something in the region of £72 million from Bayer Leverkusen. He's actually very like, physically, Mason Mount. He's like a much taller version of Mason Mount. Here's Werner up towards the corner of the penalty area, and then the challenge comes in on him. Just a little shove from Fabinho. I think there was a hand in the back. Or was it Henderson?
Yeah,
the 2 or 3 players came in.
I think it was Henderson. It was Henderson. Yeah, just a little shove in the back, and it just took Werner off balance there. Corner of the box there, out wide.
So it's a free kick. Now this is a good position for Chelsea, who've created next to nothing in the first half.
It's a very shallow line as well, Liverpool. Very shallow line, right on the edge of the 18-yard box. Only, if you can imagine the cuts of the grass, they're only sort of a cut of the grass in the yard, so about 7 yards away from the ball.
Havertz and Reece James are standing there. Reece James put his foot on the top of the football, slightly bandy-legged. You look like a pose from a cigarette card. Here's Havertz to play this in left-footed, which he does beyond the penalty spot, but it bounces away beyond everyone in either red or blue. And Henderson is able to clear it away. Kante comes across, all hustle and bustle, all action. Number 7 on his back. Kante still going down the right wing. 2 Liverpool players come across, and he's won a throw, and he's done well.
Yeah, he does well, doesn't he? He just sees danger and he just clears up all the mess. He does all the ugly jobs very, very well. Doesn't want any plaudits himself, and again gets Chelsea out of the mess, gets them going down the right-hand side, gets his team a throw-in, and he just sits himself back into the middle of the park.
Yeah, he's like a little whirling dervish, isn't he? He almost needs the cartoon lines around it. Go back towards Christensen on the halfway line. Still 0-0, Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0, as Zuma had to be quick in there on the challenge with Salah arriving, but he was, and he managed to shovel it away downfield. Here is Havertz. that Havertz, with his back to the penalty area, played it back to Kovacic, now Alonso. You just sort of feel that Liverpool are so, everyone is so conscious of Turbo Timo and the pace that has been so widely talked about, that every time the ball goes anywhere near him, Liverpool are looking to get bodies around it when they can. He's had one chance so far, the shot that was wide of the post, having failed to score on his debut the other evening. Although he did, of course, win the penalty that got the ball rolling for Chelsea. Christensen moves across ahead of Firmino, and then we'll play the ball back to goalkeeper Kepa in front of the Matthew Harding stand. 0-0.
They're both trying to play the game total football out from the back, what you would expect them to do, but on so many occasions there's the diagonal is on to Werner, the diagonal is on to Reece James and Mount on the far side, and same for Liverpool as well. But what they are doing, they are trying to play through the middle of the pitch, both teams, and they end up giving it away so much that the clear-cut chances in those wide areas aren't coming, not even reaching the wide areas.
That's Dion Dublin with us on 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0. It's been a disappointment so far in terms of a spectacle. It has finished Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 3 after the 2-2 draw between Hibs and Rangers earlier. So Rangers back to the top, Hibs in third, and Rochdale 0, Portsmouth 0 was the final score in the 3 o'clock kickoff in League One. One ball forward for Chelsea, but that's beyond Mason Mount. Alisson comes out of his penalty area, but just taps the ball to his right to Fabinho. Fabinho lifts it out towards Robertson. Robertson there with Firmino ahead of him. Firmino has taken up a position out there on the left wing and is in danger of losing possession. He has lost it. It's been won back by a combination of James and Mount. And now Mount on the right-hand side gets the ball back in the full-back position. Back it goes to James. James with a cross. Alonso with that hanging header. The ball loops into the 6-yard box, and that's an easy catch above his head, arms stretched high from Alisson. And then Henderson goes for an early ball through the middle to Sadio Mane. Kepa has come out of his penalty area. Christensen was all over the back of Sadio Mane. Now this foul happened 25 yards out. The goalkeeper was coming out, and it's a yellow card for Christensen, who was all over the back of Sadio Mane, who would surely have been away one-on-one with Kepa, the goalkeeper, coming out of the penalty area. Yeah, it's a fantastic ball as well forward, and Mane is definitely going to get there first. I'm just having a look at a replay. He's almost 100% getting there first. He's going to touch that ball over the keeper. He would have definitely scored. Christensen has both arms over the back of his shoulders and kind of rugby tackles him down. Well, my question was going to be, why is that not a red card? But VAR are looking at this, a possible red card for Christensen, who's already been shown a yellow card. And, I mean, he was clean away. Yeah, he was clean away, and I do believe that he would have scored, even though, well, the keeper's actually made his mind up for him. Right, referee Tierney is indicating the rectangle in the air, and he is now going to go across to the television screen on the far side, and we know what this normally means. This normally means that VAR, who is Michael Oliver, has recommended that that is a red card, and I'm expecting that we're going to see a sending off here. Yeah, unfortunately it's too obvious. Christensen has both arms on either shoulder of Mane, leans on him. Mane would have scored, I'm pretty confident. Kepa's committed himself. He's outside of his box by 15 yards. Paul Tierney has looked at the screen. He's walking purposefully back across, and he is showing us the rectangle. He's got the yellow card out. He's showing that he's changed his decision, and now the red card as well. And Chelsea are reduced to 10 men. Christensen has been sent off, and this is Chelsea's first sending off in 90 Premier League matches. So Christensen has gone. This Frank Lampard is down there on the edge of the coaching area, and he's putting his hand up to his eyebrows to shield his eyes from the sun, and there's a signal there, and he's suggesting that there is going to be a change, that Fikayo Tomori, as I mentioned earlier, is the central defender on the bench. Antonio Rudiger not named among the subs, and Frank Lampard is now indicating who he wants it to be, who will move into central defence. And it's not immediately obvious because Liverpool have got this free kick. Right decision. Sending off.
Yeah, agreed. And I think the referee has done amazing there. Take your time, get a bit of help from the lads in Stockley Park. Have a think about it and get the right decision. Unfortunately, Christensen found himself on his heels against one of the quickest players in the league. Had to bring him down.
1 minute of added time. Liverpool have got a free kick. Trent Alexander-Arnold, who scored in 2 of the matches against Chelsea last season. Alexander-Arnold scored in the win here in the Premier League early on in the campaign last September. He's got this free kick. Could be Robertson, more likely Alexander-Arnold. It is Alexander-Arnold, and up for the wall, but over the ankle of post and bar and wide as well. And it's a goal kick. It remains Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0, but Chelsea are down to 10 men. And there is the half-time whistle. So Frank Lampard will not make that change just yet, but you would think it would come at the start of the second half. So that's the major development, that's the major talking point, which came right at the end of a rather disappointing goalless first half, Dion Dublin.
Yes, you know what? Frank might be quietly speaking to Christensen and saying, listen, I'm not happy you've been sent off, but you had to make that challenge because Mane was going to score, rightly or wrongly. Those professional fouls can work against you. On the odd occasion, they can work for you. It's still 0-0.
Well, Cesar Azpilicueta, one of the substitutes, but the Chelsea captain, has come out onto the field and is talking away to Paul Tierney as he leaves the field. But there's the twist then. The twist came very late in the first half. It's still Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0. But Chelsea, having had Andreas Christensen sent off, are down to 10 men. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, goalless.
Dion Dublin, you're only staying on the pitch with a tackle like that if you have tried to play the ball. When it's basically a rugby tackle, you can't complain, can you?
Or you're playing rugby, yes. No, you cannot. He's just literally put both hands on Sadio Mane's shoulders. He's actually forced him down. All his weight's gone onto his back. He's pushed him forward. He's not even attempting to touch the ball. You're absolutely spot on, Steve. He had to go. I think the officials got it absolutely right. Don't rush your decision. Make sure you get the... We don't mind, Steve. If there's a bit of time taken and you get the right decision, we don't mind that.
Dion and John, thank you very much. We'll be back for second half commentary at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0, but Christensen off for Chelsea. Immediately after the game, you'll be able to speak to Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton on 606 08085 909 693. We'll tell you when the lines are open. Good afternoon, chaps.
Afternoon, Steve. Right then, Chris, let's start. VR got that one right, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Christensen, not a great day in there. Was a red card, wasn't it?
What about Basuma, Chris? Was that a red card?
Oh, I thought that was so harsh, Rob. I mean, was there any intention there? I know he caught him in the face, but sometimes things are just accidental. I thought that was desperately harsh to be a red. I really did.
6-6 last night. You thought Lindelof was a handball. What about the one in the Spurs game?
Well, do you know what I like? The referees are going to the monitors. I think that's a directive from FIFA to give penalties when the ball hits the arm in the area like that. So we can't blame the referees, blame FIFA.
Lamptey, sensational.
Oh, brilliant. He was sensational on Monday night, on last Monday against Chelsea. Brilliant again this afternoon. What was he, £3 million? An absolute snip. Maybe Chelsea regret him going.
Does Southampton need to play away from home every week, Chris?
Well, I mean, it was desperate, wasn't it? But you have to credit Spurs. Harry Kane, brilliant, devastating some of his assists, and Son. I just wonder, where do Spurs fans stand now? We had one on last week. It didn't want Jose Mourinho long term. The Spurs players weren't playing for him. Jose Mourinho's past it. But then today, how do Spurs fans feel? Brilliant performance, wasn't it? And what's going to happen to Dele Alli?
Newcastle, no shots on target at home, Chris.
No, I mean, Brighton, very, very good, and that'll be the usual doom and gloom at Newcastle.
And what about criticism for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Manchester United after one game, Christopher?
Well, come on. I mean, that was over the top. He did a really good job improving the team last season, didn't he? But, I mean, Harry Maguire absolutely panned last night. Paul Pogba. I mean, it's one game. Come on. Give them time. After a dozen games, do you know what? Fair enough. But not after one game, Rob. Too much, too soon.
I agree, Chris. Phone lines are now open. We're only on for 30 minutes. Book your call now. 08085 909 693. Steve.
I've got a question for you, Chris, before you go. Need you to respond to some rumours. You've tweeted today, anybody who transferred out Son for Bruno or Greenwood in their fantasy team is an idiot. Your Fantasy 606 co-host, Ali Bruce Ball, did exactly that.
No,
were you
did he?
aiming that criticism at him or not, Chris?
Do you know what? I didn't know. I did know that, of course I did. It was totally aimed at him. Skullduggery of the highest order. But there's, I think, hundreds, thousands of people have done it. Gone too early, Steve. But you went wild card, didn't you? Am I right in saying?
I did, and guess who I took out in the wild card?
You didn't.
I did. Son, go on.
Crossy, Steve.
Yes, mate.
Come on, Chris. Give us you're better than that, Bruce.
Oh, come on. You're better than that, Brucey. And Steve. And John Akers. And old big head, John Akers. He took him out, didn't he?
Yeah, he certainly did. Robbie, Chris, thank you very much. 606 straight after the game. And I do really also recommend Fantasy 606 with Chris and Statman Dave and Ali. It is a brilliant listen, whether or not you play the game, but you should, and it's really good. Right, we've got more from Stamford Bridge to come. Second half commentary of Chelsea against Liverpool. Some more reaction to the earlier games as well. We'll get the news first. Here's Helen Place.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The BBC News on 5 Live. The Health Secretary Matt Hancock is urging people to follow the coronavirus rules, and if not, another national lockdown can't be ruled out. He says the UK is at a tipping point as infections rise. The latest figures show almost 4,000 new COVID-19 cases across the UK. 18 more people have died within 28 days of testing positive. Blackpool has seen thousands of visitors this weekend, despite police warning against having a last blast before tighter restrictions. People reported heavy traffic, little social distancing, and few people wearing masks indoors. Ozzy Osbourne's former drummer Lee Kerslake has died, aged 73. The musician, also in the band Uriah Heep, had been undergoing treatment for prostate cancer. And a Spanish triathlete has been praised for allowing a British competitor who'd taken a wrong turn to finish ahead of him, sacrificing a bronze medal in doing so. Diego Mentrida realised James Tingle had made an error and stopped running, saying his rival deserved to win instead.
More live Premier League football than anyone else.
5 Live's Premier League Sunday.
With Steve Crossman.
The final round of the US Open Golf is underway. Could there be a late charge from Rory McIlroy? Ian Carter.
Well, that's the question. He's on the range at the moment. He's teeing off at just before 6 o'clock our time. He's got a post to score. He's currently at 1 over par in 7th place, 6 shots off Matthew Wolff's lead. The start is going to be absolutely key for McIlroy. He was in a similarly promising position the last time the US Open was played at Pebble Beach and faded very early in his round. So a solid start is absolutely vital for Rory McIlroy today. If he gets that, he can post a number, and the course is again looking fearsome. The greens are playing faster than they have done all week long. Remember, Matthew Wolff is the leader at 5 under par, and he will be going out in the final pairing with Bryson DeChambeau, the next closest man to him, at 3 under par. They tee off at 6:30.
All 18 counties playing this afternoon in the final round of games to decide the quarter-finals of the T20 Blast. Kevin Howells has the details.
Yes, it was a brilliant afternoon of final qualifying for the quarterfinals, where everything looked to be straightforward until the final overs of matches, which turned things upside down. So the quarterfinal lineup as follows: Nottinghamshire, clear winners of the North Group, take on East Midlands rivals Leicestershire, whose victory over Lancashire saw them come up on the outside lane to snatch a place in the last 8. Jason Roy's 72 saw Surrey beat Kent to set up a repeat game for the quarterfinals. Gloucestershire kicked out Somerset by 2 wickets at Bristol to gain a home tie versus Northamptonshire, who in turn overturned Birmingham Bears, chasing down 192 for victory. And Sussex Sharks take 2nd place in the south to take on Lancashire at home. The quarterfinals a week on Thursday.
Couple of other sports headlines for you. Leicester City have signed the Roma winger Cenk Under on a season-long loan. They also have the option to buy him at the end of it. Leicester Burnley, remember, is our final commentary on 5 Live Premier League Sunday at 7 o'clock, and it's live on BBC One. Bristol City maintain their winning start to the new Championship season with a 2-0 victory over Stoke, 2 in a row for them. Rangers were held to a 2-2 draw at Hibs. They move a point clear of Celtic, but they have played a game more. And in Rugby Union's Champions Cup, Toulouse scored 5 tries to ease past Ulster 36-8 and make it into the last 4. We've got commentary of the quarter-final between Exeter and Northampton on 5 Live Sports Extra. The coverage gets underway in 4 minutes' time. Already today, Newcastle 0, Brighton 3. Neil Mopai got 2 goals. Brighton cruising to victory. Tariq Lamptey, the right-back, was brilliant again, still only 19 years old. He joined Brighton from Chelsea in January, and Mopai says he's added a new dimension to the team.
To have him is a great chance for us because the opponents don't know how to deal with him because of his pace, and he was everywhere in the first half. He won the pen, he won a couple of free kicks, of fouls, and I'm really happy for him because he's such a great guy. I like him. You know, he's young, he comes from a big club, but he's really humble. He's always smiling, and everyone likes him, so we are really, really happy for him.
Your manager was very diplomatic about his potential international future, but do you see him playing for the England senior side one day?
This kid doesn't have limits. He's, like I said, he's 19 and he's playing at such a high level. Like for him, I see him a great future. You know, if he carries on like that, like I said, he has no limits, and hopefully he will have a really big career. And I'm sure if he carries on, he'll be international one day.
Neil Mopai, no limits for Tariq Lamptey. What a compliment that is. Right, we're going to make our first trip now to the King Power ahead of that 7 o'clock kickoff live on 5 Live and BBC One. Leicester against Burnley. Conor McNamara and Karen Carney are your commentary team. Hello, guys.
Hi, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
So let's start with Leicester City then. They were a little bit reliant on Jamie Vardy in the first game, but there is a feeling, isn't there, Conor, that they might have got over what happened to them at the end of last season?
Yeah, I mean, it was, when you look at the stark numbers, the second half of the season was so disappointing for Leicester. And okay, they finished outside the top 4, and it would have been a remarkable achievement to get in the Champions League. But given their form over the first half of last season, they only lost 2 league games up until December. I think, Leicester fans have got to be so disappointed how it trailed off. Only 9 points from 9 matches during Project Restart. And yes, they did look much better last weekend. I think this will be a good test for them today, though, against a Burnley team who, as we know, don't concede many goals. Nick Pope, who came so close to getting the Premier League's Golden Gloves last season as a result.
James Maddison, we'll have to wait and see if he has his first start since that injury that he got, Karen. He came on as a substitute in that game against West Brom. I mean, he is massive for them, and I suppose he must be a player who's exactly the kind that you like watching.
Yeah, he is. I think that's why they kind of fell off towards the end of last season. He wasn't really involved, and at times he got his head turned, didn't he? And he wasn't really that same player after Christmas. And you need that creativity. It takes the pressure off Jamie Vardy. Teams probably know what they're going to do without Maddison, and teams are not worried about him in between the lines, and they can just defend the pace and behind. So he's key, and they'll be keen to get him back in the side very soon.
Just looking at the game that we've got going on at the minute at half-time, Conor, Chelsea-Liverpool, with all those new signings, and Leicester have just made a new signing with Cenk Under. I'd love to get inside the head of Sean Dyche and just think how he feels right now with the lack of transfer business.
Yeah, it's been quiet, hasn't it, at Turf Moor? The only arrival, goalkeeper Will Norris, on a free from Wolves. And this is a Burnley team who, remember, finished in the top 10 last season. You'd have thought of a little bit of investment here. Let's try and kick on. Let's at the very least, let's try and keep this mid-table situation, because it was only the season before last they absolutely flirted with relegation. They ended up finished 15th in the end, but it was a proper battle right to the end. Look, Sean Dyche knows what he's doing. We've got to give him that credit, because he's the Premier League's longest serving manager now since Eddie Howe has left. So, I'm sure negotiations will have gone on in the background. I think as well, you look at the injuries that they've had, and there's a spine of the team out missing at the moment. Ben Mee, arguably their best central defender. Jack Cork, you could say, is their best midfielder. Ashley Barnes, a striker.
Now, hopefully those guys are all back and playing soon, but you would think that a little bit more depth would really help Burnley. You know, for every game, Steve, I write out every possible player in the squad, and it's notable that there are so much fewer senior players in Burnley. They do have kids who can step in and fill in the benches should they be needed, but in terms of senior players, adult players, if you like, Burnley seem to have much fewer than those than other Premier League clubs.
Connor, Karen, thank you very much. 7 o'clock kickoff after 6:06. Live on 5 Live Sport and BBC One. Leicester versus Burnley. We're going back to Stamford Bridge. Dion Dublin. I think we're about to see Thiago.
It's looking that way, Steve. The excitement is there. I'm hiding it, but it's there. He's on the pitch at the moment. He's been chatting to there's 4 members of Liverpool staff, all in grey shirts there. Thiago's in the middle of them. They're chatting to him, telling him what to do, patting him on the back. And yeah, he looks ready to go. His tracksuit top's off. He's in full kit. Pads, boots, the lot, ready to go.
By the way, you set me a challenge to find an image of you diving.
I know, Steve, I know.
I haven't had to do this. Have you seen someone's tweeted me a picture of you diving?
No, did they send it in? That's terrible. You weren't. I was saving myself. I was trying to get hurt, so I jumped out of the way.
Ryan, who's a Leicester fan, thank you very much.
Sneaky trick, Ryan. That.
Very, very sneaky, by the way. Very, very sneaky.
Brilliant, right? Well, it looks like John Murray. We are about to see Liverpool's new signing.
We're going to see Liverpool's new signing, or one of their new signings. We're going to see, first of all, Fikayo Tomori come on. We've been wondering, Dion, at half-time whether it was going to be Cesar Azpilicueta or Tomori, or both of them, with the possibility that Frank Lampard might switch to 3 central defenders. But in the end, what he's done is, after the sending off at the end of the first half of Andreas Christensen, Tomori is going to replace Kai Havertz, and Tomori is going to play alongside Zuma in central defence for the time being at least. So that is the Chelsea change before the second half gets underway. It is Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0, incidentally. But this now is the moment. Great excitement for Liverpool supporters everywhere. The arrival on Friday of Thiago Alcantara, Champions League winner with Bayern Munich last season, treble winner with Bayern Munich last season, was involved in both matches when Bayern knocked Chelsea out of the Champions League in the last 16, and Jurgen Klopp now arrives and puts a huge arm around Thiago. He's towering over him, and actually then stands in front of him. Klopp puts both hands on both shoulders and stands with his back to the pitch. The board has already gone up there, and still Klopp is handing out the orders to Thiago. No sign of the rest of the Liverpool players, but instructions from Jurgen Klopp, who then puts his arms around Thiago, and on he comes, the Spanish international, the former Barcelona and Bayern Munich man, signed on Friday for between 20 and 25 million pounds. That was the worth of the deal. He's on, and he's making his debut here at Stamford Bridge for his new club, Liverpool, and he immediately runs onto the field as the Liverpool players walk back out there, and he shakes hands with Virgil van Dijk. Fabinho as well is able to come across and have a little word. Keita as well. And he's taken the place of the Liverpool captain, Jordan Henderson, in midfield. So, changes for both Dion Dublin.
Yeah, changes for both, especially for Chelsea as well, with one man less and Tomori having to come on. They have to shore up now, because Thiago will be looking for those killer passes, those little inventive passes, those holding passes that have got to go over the defenders. He's very... here we go.
Given away. Chelsea have given it away. Jorginho, and Robertson was onto it, but he was fortunate there, Jorginho. The ball ricocheted off Robertson and through to Kepa, who was able to pick it up.
But they'll do that, Liverpool. They'll squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. They will make you make mistakes, Liverpool. They want you to play in certain areas, and then they just pounce on you.
So Thiago is playing in exactly the position Jordan Henderson was, as the middleman in central midfield. Number 6 on his back. He's got the number that was worn by Dejan Lovren until he left the club during the brief close season. And we'll see immediately what his impact is going to be in this Liverpool team. Just arrived on Friday, so training session Friday afternoon, whatever they did yesterday in the build-up to the game. And here he is, getting a touch. Just knocks it back to Alexander-Arnold, who swings across field pass, but Reece James comes across, and James is able to get to it and play it back in field towards Kante. I'll run you through the teams in full in a moment, but Werner flicks it forward. Disappointing for Havertz. Kai Havertz to have to make way on his home debut. Liverpool through the middle, Firmino over the touch, Keita still goalless. If you've just joined us on 5 Live here on a sunny Stamford Bridge, Salah flicks the ball onto his left foot, moves infield, but just overruns it there. And Kante, whenever you overrun it there, if you're playing against N'Golo Kante, you would surely know that he would be arriving, and he did, and he was able to block it away. Liverpool again with Thiago, 30 yards out. Thiago curls the ball, much in the manner that we saw him do so often for Bayern Munich last season. Serial title winner with Barcelona, and Bayern Munich won the Champions League with Barcelona as well, albeit as an unused substitute in the final. Here is Wijnaldum, then to Robertson. Robertson thought about having a go from the edge of the area, gives it to Mane. Mane, it's a packed penalty area. Mane goes for the dead ball line. James went with and blocked it behind. Corner in front of the sheds down to Liverpool. 0-0.
Yeah, good defending from Reece James. Here we go, quick corner.
Corner taken quickly. Combination of Robertson and Mane. Chelsea had to be quick there. Kante came across, goes back to Robertson as Liverpool attack from right to left as we look from up here in the east stand. Thiago curls the ball into the penalty area. That's headed away by Zuma for Chelsea. Liverpool, the red kit with the white trim, have got the ball back. Chelsea here at Stamford Bridge in the royal blue shirts and shorts, the white socks. Liverpool chipping the ball to the left-hand side. Frank Lampard making 1 or 2 gestures out there onto the field. Little readjustments. Chelsea playing with 10 men. Mane, then back to Thiago. Now Robertson has a look in the middle. Here's the cross from Robertson, headed away by Tomori. It bounces up. Alonso leans forward. It bounced up, hit him around the shoulder. But in the with the new regulations, don't think that was anywhere near a handball. Alexander-Arnold plays it into the box, headed away by Tomori, and then cleared away, overhead kick by Kante. Liverpool come again. Strong start from the champions to the second half. Mane and Robertson. Now Wijnaldum. Little ball just across the edge of the penalty area. Salah, Thiago, and then Kante was in there to get in ahead of Salah. But Liverpool are back in possession again. Van Dijk now to Mane. Reece James swings a leg and takes down Sadio Mane. Missed the ball, took his legs a yard outside the penalty area in the full-back position.
Yeah, Mane sort of dropped his left shoulder like a hop, put all his weight on his left foot down the right wing and came on his right foot, and Reece James completely bought the trick. I nearly fell off my chair because I nearly bought the trick as well. So quick, such quick feet, and Reece James had to bring him down. He was in for a shot on goal or a cross.
If you had that, would have been a dive from you, Dion.
Yes,
you don't do that.
Never dive.
You've never done that. Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0. Free kick, like a short corner from the full-back position. Alexander-Arnold just rolls it back to the edge of the box. Thiago's there, back to Alexander-Arnold. He lifts it into the back post, it's headed across, and James is underneath it for Chelsea to volley away as it landed on his right foot. So Liverpool back in possession again. The new signing, Thiago, runs his foot over the ball. Thiago, as I've mentioned many times over the years, his dad was a World Cup winner with Brazil. Mazinho, one of Brazil's 94 World Cup winners, but he was born in Italy when his dad was playing for Lecce, and plays his international football for Spain, having grown up there. And now Salah combining, ball into the middle. Mane is there with a header, and it's beyond the dive of Kepa into the back of the Chelsea net. And Chelsea, having been reduced to 10 men, now find themselves a goal down here at Stamford Bridge to the champions, and it's Sadio Mane who's opened the scoring. Chelsea 0, Liverpool 1.
And it looked so easy for Liverpool. They kept it slowly, then they went quick, they went down the left, and then they swapped sides, they went across the middle, through Thiago, over to the right-hand side. Nice little interplay. I think it was with Salah and Firmino. Firmino gets it back in that right wing spot, and Sadio Mane just timed his run to perfection, gets across to Tomori and just heads it left shoulder forward, straight past the keeper. Kepa nowhere. Liverpool have come out absolutely flying in the second half.
That's the early goal that Liverpool wanted in the second half, with the extra man advantage. They really, Dion, pressed on the accelerator in the opening minutes of the second half, and with just 5 minutes on the clock in the second period, 1-0 Liverpool.
Yeah, it might have been the information that Jurgen Klopp was giving to Thiago. You can see by his body language. Get on the ball, make us play forward, keep us going sharp, keep the play in front of you. And that's exactly what's happened in this opening moments of this second half. And they're under pressure again, Liverpool, not wanting to pass back there. Zuma refusing to pass to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, that was a good spot, Dion, in the first half. that Chelsea were reluctant to do that. Now they've lost possession. Kante is dispossessed. Ball played by Alexander-Arnold into the area to Salah, but it was just deflected away from Salah. Otherwise, that could have been big trouble for Chelsea. Liverpool come again, though. Ball still just on the D on the edge of the box, and then in goes Tomori to put in the challenge and clear the ball away towards the halfway line. Alisson, who was almost on the halfway line, to get to that first, the Liverpool goalkeeper, but then Robertson's ball in is too close to Kepa. Chelsea 0, Liverpool 1. You're listening to it on BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service, and here is Mason Mount playing the ball out towards Alonso on the far side. And Chelsea, they've barely been out of their own half in the second period, and indeed now they're back in their own territory again. The substitute, Tomori, who might be off to Everton before the closing of this transfer window on loan. Rudiger not on the substitutes bench for Chelsea today. The ball played forward, but that will bounce through to Alisson, who's got the ball and will underarm it out, and Liverpool will come again. Ruthless stuff by the champions here.
Yeah, it is, and they've come out in the second half, and they're playing like champions. They're playing like they did last season. Quick, sharp, waiting for the mistakes, forcing the mistakes.
And the much vaunted front three, all involved in that opening goal. Salah and Firmino. And Firmino's cross to Mane, who was 7-8 yards out. Just planted his head out beyond the dive of Kepa to his right. And Sadio Mane off the mark for the new season. After watching Salah get a hat-trick last week, Sadio Mane with the opening goal here with the header 5 minutes into the second period. Liverpool coming again towards the edge of the box. Salah flips the ball over his own head, but Zuma was able to clear it away before Liverpool and Keita got anywhere near it. Here is Sadio Mane. But Chelsea are able to win it. Oh, Kepa's given it straight to Mane, and Mane makes it 2-0. What an awful mistake from the Chelsea goalkeeper. Chelsea's under fire goalkeeper with the ball in his 6-yard box presented it straight to Sadio Mane, who said thank you very much and made it Chelsea 0, Liverpool 2. What an awful moment for Kepa, who now stands and leans over and pulls up his socks, but he can't look at anyone. He knows that he is the man who was solely to blame.
Wow, what a mistake from the keeper. A keeper that's under pressure from his manager, from his players. I mentioned through the whole of this game, the players do not want to pass the ball back to him because they don't trust him with the ball at his feet. He's made another glaring mistake. And to be fair to Tomori, he played the ball back to him on his right foot so that he could strike it first time. He put his studs on top of the ball and tried to play a fancy keep ball pass into midfield. Sadio Mane far too sharp.
Just tried to chip it. The ball, he stopped the ball stationary, tried to chip it away directly out of the penalty area. And Sadio Mane, who was 5 yards away from it, just stuck out a leg, brought it down and passed it into the net.
Empty net for Mane. I just think Liverpool have come out with the intention of putting every single player in the blue shirt under pressure.
Well, that's it, Dion, isn't it? Against 10 men, 2-0 up. Liverpool should win this.
I think I said 4 goals, didn't I? So there's 2 more to come.
Yes, Alexander-Arnold. Back to Salah. Liverpool looking for a third now. Firmino, and then Alonso is able to step in and pass the ball away. And Chelsea take it up towards the halfway line. Werner to Mount, but Liverpool are there in numbers, and Mount plays it forward, can't find Werner, and Liverpool are able to win the ball back. And sometimes, very often, when you see a team who has a player sent off, you'll often say, you can barely tell that one team has an extra man. Not here. It looks very much as though Liverpool have got one more man than Chelsea, sometimes more than that. Wijnaldum plays it into the middle. Robertson is there. James' clearance bounces to Robertson, but Robertson's ankle ball back doesn't have enough pace on it to reach Sadio Mane, who's on a hat-trick now. And then Kovacic is fouled by Robertson, and it's a free kick to Chelsea half inside their own half. So 2-0 to Liverpool, 2 goals for Sadio Mane, who had never scored for Liverpool here at Stamford Bridge, but has put that little run to an end with 2 goals in the space of 4 minutes in the early part of the second half.
Yeah, and Thiago Alcantara's come on, and he's played those crossfield balls without playing too many passes. He's just gone from the middle of the pitch left, the middle of the pitch right, in one pass. He's making Chelsea move around the pitch. They've got one player less. That means Liverpool will have one player extra every single time. He's finding that man.
Frank Lampard, if this is indeed going to be a defeat for Chelsea, will have to answer more questions about his goalkeeper. But of course, reinforcements are on their way. Chelsea are about to confirm the signing of a new goalkeeper. Here's Keita towards the edge of the area, but is muscled out by Chelsea. And here's Kovacic running it away for Chelsea towards the halfway line. Gives it to Mason Mount, running down the left wing. Alonso's there for support, but there's only Timo Werner in the middle. And Chelsea now, the reinforcements arrive. Jorginho puts his foot on the ball, curls it to Alonso, who heads it down into the full-back position, the Liverpool right-back area. Havertz has actually gone out there towards the left wing to help him. And Chelsea switch the play to the right-hand side. Tomori actually doesn't make that pass, but it is made by Jorginho, who hits it too far ahead of Reece James and out of play for a Liverpool throw. And they look rattled and they look beaten at the moment, Chelsea.
Yeah, they do look kind of out of sorts as well. The positional play that they're in is all over the place. Tomori had no option at all to drop that ball into, I think it was Jorginho. He played him around the corner, he's out of play, and yeah, they don't look themselves. I know they're a man down, but you've got to regroup, become solid again, stop Liverpool scoring goals, and start from that point.
Chelsea 0, Liverpool 2. BBC Radio 5 live and the World Service live from Stamford Bridge. The opening goal, as I say, all of the front three involved, Salah, Firmino and Mane, providing the finish after Liverpool have just signed a new front man yesterday, Diogo Jota. So the competition is there. And they've all been involved in that opening goal, and then Sadio Mane. I think it was a present, such a present by Kepa. And we'll have to see if the new signing, whenever Chelsea do confirm it, Edouard Mendy, the Rennes goalkeeper, who is 28 years old, Senegal international. We'll have to see if he is going to be brought in as first choice. Here is Werner. Werner now. Kante inside the penalty area, twists, but the challenge came in on him from Robertson, who came across from left back, and the ball bounced through for Alisson to pick up.
Yeah, Timo Werner there trying to make something happen, trying to inject a bit of pace into Chelsea's forward play. Not happening at the moment.
Robertson. Jorginho fell over on the halfway line. Robertson just ran away from him. Gives it to 2 goals, Sadio Mane on the left-hand side. Sadio Mane up against Reece James. Is able to work it into the penalty area to Robertson. Mane then chips it across. Then it's played back into the path of Mane, but just beyond him by Naby Keita. And Kepa was able to move out of his 6-yard box and gather it.
Yeah, some good football from Liverpool. Maybe a little bit too intricate on that occasion. And Kepa just diving out forward to grab that ball to safety into his arms, but again Sadio Mane is really fancying this.
He certainly is, and there's some lovely stuff there played by Liverpool, delicate, creative stuff. Kepa's got the ball at his feet inside the penalty area. He gives the impression of confidence, just rolls it from foot to foot and then chips it downfield. But this is the eternal struggle, the mental struggle for a goalkeeper, isn't it, when you're going through a period of form like this and you make a mistake such as the one that he's made, to just sort of try and put it out of your mind. Salah plays it to Alexander-Arnold on the right-hand side, his ball in, bounces off Kovacic, Salah in the D, left foot shot, it takes a deflection, a big deflection off Tomori, which sent Kepa the wrong way. He was moving to his right, but it bounced harmlessly wide by 4 or 5 yards.
I mean, the body language of the Chelsea players, that ball just got ricocheted off. I think it might have been Tomori or Zuma.
Tomori, yeah, I think it was.
Out for a corner. And the body language was very, hunched shoulders. And, yeah, really feeling sorry for themselves. They have to get themselves out of this.
So it's a corner for Liverpool, who dominated the match since the sending off just before half-time with Christensen. Here's the corner swung in, comes off the head of Jorginho, who had Mane behind him. Gets a little tap of a hand from Reece James.
But you can't see anybody. There's nobody taking charge, really. Zuma and Tomori, you're the centre-halves. You're the ones that have got to do all the talking. Gesticulate, get your arms out, pull people about. Tell them where you want them to be. You're at home.
It's quite alarming, actually. Chelsea supporters, if there were Chelsea supporters in here today, I think we'd see quite a reaction to what we're seeing. It's dramatically moved away from them, this match. Corner, Alexander-Arnold for Liverpool swings it into the 6-yard box to the far post, but it's caught by goalkeeper Kepa. So Chelsea 0, Liverpool 2. I'll let you know when the lines are open, by the way, for 6:06. James Milner is going to come on very shortly for Liverpool, having been an unused substitute last weekend in that thrilling match against Leeds United. So I'll let you know when the lines are open for 6:06, but you can get in touch on social media, hashtag BBC606, or you can text 85058, the new sound of 6:06 on 5 Live this season, with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage every Saturday and Sunday night of the season. And here is Robertson for Liverpool. Checks back and gives it to Keita. I'm sure you'll want to talk about this game and the instant impact that Thiago made, where Diogo Jota fills in or fits in for Liverpool. But here is Thiago in the centre circle. Thiago to Alexander-Arnold, then forward towards Wijnaldum. I don't know about you, Dion. I mean, Liverpool don't want to be letting Wijnaldum away to anywhere, do they? As the ball bounces away for Werner, and Werner's off and running, but Fabinho comes across, as he has done on a number of occasions today, just puts in the challenge at the crucial moment on Werner and stops his progress. And then there's a foul on Mane in the centre circle.
Yeah, he's so assured at the back there, Fabinho. He's, I was worried about him at the start of the game with the pace of Chelsea going forward and Werner and Havertz, but no, Fabinho's been absolutely outstanding. Just did he's done his job. I can see him now. He's putting his hands together as if to say, "Come on, lads, concentrate." Substitutions being made now.
So it's going to be James Milner coming on for Naby Keita. So it's a midfield role, and he's been given the captain's armband by. I presume it was Van Dijk who'd been given it once Henderson was substituted at half-time. So Milner coming on in a midfield role. Chelsea 0, Liverpool 2. And really the game, Dion Dublin changed with that sending off, which was the correct decision. It was really signalled by VAR after Paul Tierney initially gave a yellow card against Christensen, but it was I'm sure even Frank Lampard would concede that was a red card decision. Or maybe not, maybe I'm being wildly optimistic. But here's Alexander-Arnold on the right-hand side for Liverpool, playing it infield towards Thiago, and Liverpool go back towards the halfway line. Milner gets his first touch in the Premier League this season, now a 3-time Premier League winner, twice with Manchester City, before last season with Liverpool. Milner, number 7 on his back, goes back towards Fabinho, who has done well actually, having come in for the injured Joe Gomez. Matip couldn't play either, little hamstring problem for him. Ball deflects across to Mane, and now Thiago to Robertson. Back to Thiago just outside the box, flicks it back. Milner gives it to Liverpool's new number 6, Thiago Alcantara. Little drop of the shoulders, then curls the ball in, but over the run into the penalty area from Wijnaldum. And it's a goal kick.
Yes, I have noticed that he does like a no-look pass, doesn't he, Thiago? He does like a no-look pass. He's looking one way, passing the ball the other, and he hasn't played a bad one yet, I've got to say.
Did you see the little video on social media this week?
Yes.
Of the famous Gibson Brothers song, isn't it?
Oh my gosh.
Cuba. If anyone's not seen it, I would heartily recommend it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it is. It's put together greatly.
Such a good one. Here is Firmino. Firmino plays it through. Wijnaldum, right side of the box, shoots, and it's blocked by the legs of Kepa. Shot straight at him from the angle, and the ball bounced back out. But another chance for Liverpool. It feels like it's almost only a matter of time before Liverpool score another one. They've dominated the game. They've had the extra man, but they've spent, what have we had in the second half? 20 minutes. They must have spent 18 and a half minutes in the Chelsea half in this second period.
They've just dominated the ball, just in that final third, and Mane's been at the heart of it.
Here's Milner. Back to Mane, tried to thread it between Kante and James. It's just cut out, and now James is in danger of losing it to Mane. Mane then tries to find Salah on the edge of the area. The pass was just beyond him, and so Chelsea have got it back. Chelsea 0, Liverpool 2. Yeah, I'll let you know when the lines are open for 6:06, but you can get in touch, hashtag BBC606, or you can text 85058 to book your call with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. They'll be on straight after this match, but we'll bring you we'll try and bring you live interviews from down on pitch side. Jurgen Klopp, Frank Lampard, and who else is offered to us, and more Premier League commentary still to come today. We've got Leicester, Burnley from 7 o'clock tonight via BBC Sounds. You can listen to 5 Live wherever you go via the BBC Sounds app. And then 2 more Premier League commentaries tomorrow night. Aston Villa against Sheffield United from 6 o'clock, and Wolves Manchester City from 8:15, which was an excellent game last season, I remember, at Molineux. So those the matches tomorrow, as Chelsea, a rare foray forward. Werner on the right-hand side. Werner back to James. James then plays it across to Kante. Kante then tries to set up Kovacic, who's on his right foot, turns back onto his left, but gives it out towards Alonso on the far side. Chelsea attacking towards the Matthew Harding stand. Mount goes for goal, and it dips over the crossbar and flicks the top of the netting as it bounces behind Alisson's goal.
Yeah, that's the first time Chelsea have found themselves in Liverpool's final third. It was a speculative shot from Mount, 25 yards out on the angle. I think Alisson had it all covered, but just the organisation of Liverpool forcing Chelsea to go round them. What I mean by that, they go down the left, they have to come out again through to the centre halves, try the right-hand side, it didn't work, and then they're doing the same thing again, really packing that midfield, Liverpool.
Liverpool with the ball deep inside their own half. Lines are open for 606 now, 08085 909 693. As Liverpool advance down the right. Here's Salah in towards Firmino. Tomori does well, puts in the challenge 25 yards from his own goal, wins the ball back, but then Kante gives it away. That's a collector's item. Liverpool are just all over Chelsea here as they move from right to left towards the empty shed stand with all of the canvases on the seats. Keep the blue flag flying high, it reads, with letters, vertical letters in the top tier. Milner, the blue flag is hanging very limply, and it's the champion's pennant that is fluttering over Stamford Bridge, figuratively speaking. Here's Van Dijk back into the centre circle. Stacks of live sport as well today. Still to come on 5 Live Sports Extra right now. The quarter-final between Exeter and Northampton. Get your latest score on that in a moment or two. After Toulouse had a big win against Ulster earlier. Tour de France comes to an end. We'll have more on that later. And then from 9 o'clock, 5 Live tonight, the US Open final round. The golf will be live on 5 Live from 9 o'clock. Don't miss that. Rory McIlroy still just about in touch. And you can follow it on the live text as well on the BBC website. But Chelsea 0, Liverpool 2, as Liverpool continue to knock the ball around. Thiago swinging a pass towards the left-hand side. And then Robertson with his ball at the feet. And then back it goes towards the halfway line. Firmino. Thiago again. I mean, talk about running the show, pulling the strings, whatever phrase you want to use. He's doing it already, the little number 6 in centre field for Liverpool. Salah. Then under the chest of Milner, near the centre circle. Milner forward to Sadio Mane, who is just turning and giving it to Milner to his left, then Robertson, and then Liverpool go back towards the halfway line again. Just really toying with Chelsea.
Yeah, they're just not wanting to come out of their shape at all. Here's Kovacic now, trying to do something, but breaking the shape of that 5-4-1.
And Liverpool, the space, they're so good at finding the space as well. Robertson back towards Van Dijk, Virgil van Dijk, and in the entirety of the game, really, Chelsea have carved out 2 chances. A shot from Werner in the first half and Mount's effort over the crossbar in the second, and that's been about it. And after all of the exciting signings, and there are players who are not yet fit. Pulisic, obviously, after the way that he finished last season. Ziyech to come back in and not forgetting Chilwell as well at left back. That looked like a foul throw by Alonso over there, but referee Tierney allows it to go. And Chelsea now winning a free kick. Kovacic fouled by Firmino deep inside his own half.
Yeah, I don't know if flat's the word. We might have used the word flat already about Chelsea, but doesn't seem to be any urgency since that sending off. They're kind of feeling sorry for themselves. Well, that's what the body language looks.
But it means that Chelsea, after finishing 33 points behind the champions last season and spending well in excess of £200 million once the signing of the new goalkeeper Mendy is confirmed. It means in their first match at Stamford Bridge this season, they are yet to have an attempt on target. We're going to get the team news from Leicester very shortly. In fact, Chelsea go backwards to goalkeeper Kepa. Mount, though, receives it. Mount passes it forward towards Kante, gives it back to Mason Mount, who's still inside his own half. James, then Tomori, and Chelsea go back into central defence again. So let's bring in Conor McNamara with the team news from our next Premier League commentary on 5 Live, the Leicester-Burnley game.
Hi, John.
What's
Leicester
the news, Conor?
John, Leicester are unchanged from their 3-0 win over West Brom last weekend. It means James Maddison is still on the bench. And Burnley, in what is their first Premier League match of the new season, give a debut, a Premier League debut at least, to 22-year-old Irish central defender Jimmy Dunn. He was on loan at Fleetwood last season. He's thrust in for his Premier League debut, having played in the League Cup in midweek. Quite a tall order to keep tabs on Jamie Vardy and co. But Burnley short of central offensive options at the moment, with both Ben Mee and James Tarkowski injured.
Thank you, Conor. Look forward to listening to Conor and to Karen Carney a little later. Here's Werner into the penalty area, still going, and goes down, and he's been clipped, and it's a penalty to Chelsea. Werner, who's moving from left to right and was just clipped, ended up sprawling to the ground. It seemed to be something of a delayed reaction, I must say. And it is a penalty to Chelsea. It looks as though it might be Thiago who caught him. Werner started off with the ball in the full-back position, sprinted into the box. Thiago came in, and with his arms stretched, Dion has just put his body into the back of...
Yeah, he has. He's trying to make out that he hasn't touched Timo Werner, but he has caught him with his shins, and he's made Werner's, heels clip each other, and it was a penalty. Referee got it right.
So, an unexpected lifeline for Chelsea. VAR have had a look at it, and it's been confirmed as a penalty. Paul Tierney calling it right. So he will tell Alisson to make sure he doesn't move off his line, and it's Jorginho, scored a penalty on Monday night. Jorginho, 8 penalties out of 8 scored for Chelsea in his time in the blue shirt. Just uses his left arm to wipe his brow. Jorginho now waits on the edge of the penalty area. This, surprise, surprise, to put Chelsea back in the match. Jorginho waits, and up he comes, right-footed. There's the little gallop. Oh, and Alisson goes down and makes the save. Dive down to his left. Liverpool cheers you can hear inside Stamford Bridge, and he's embraced by his teammates. And that's quite a wild celebration from a goalkeeper who's just served a penalty, and it remains 2-0 to Liverpool.
And the highest of high fives from Thiago to Silva. Thank you very much, Keep. You've helped me out there.
So the ball put behind by Liverpool. So for the first time, Jorginho has failed to score from the spot.
Oh no, retake maybe?
The corner is being delayed here, and they're happy that Alisson did not move off his line. Play resumes with a corner to Chelsea, which incidentally is Chelsea's first corner of the match. Ball played in by Mount, and then a stretching header across is caught by Alisson, who is one of the Liverpool heroes now today after saving the penalty from Jorginho, from his Brazilian compatriot, even though, of course, he does play his international football for Italy, Jorginho.
He waited and he waited. Alisson waited for a very long time before he decided to move, before he decided to pick a side. He stayed on his line. Both heels were on the line. He waited. And Jorginho, as he was coming down from the famous skip, the keeper still hadn't moved. Very clever goalkeeping. Good save.
Yeah, well, Alisson was ready for that, wasn't he? I mean, everyone knows about Jorginho's little hop, his little skip that he makes before he takes his penalties, and he very shrewdly waited. And here now is Robertson on the left-hand side. Robertson angling the ball back towards the edge of the penalty area. But Tomori was able to get there first for Chelsea. But now Fabinho gets there first for Liverpool and plays it to Wijnaldum on the right-hand side. Wijnaldum infield towards Salah. Salah runs his foot over the ball. Wijnaldum then just got a heavy touch on that, and Chelsea were able to clear. But Liverpool have picked up possession again, and now Thiago's ball across the penalty area. Robertson with the lead, but Kante was there, and Kante got the first touch, then sprinted, kept the ball in, but his clearance has given it back to Liverpool and Milner and Mane. We're into the last 15 minutes now, and that was the chance, obviously, for Chelsea to get back into the game, but not taken. And it wasn't the best of penalties.
No, it wasn't, and it was down to the goalkeeper as well, just waiting, forcing Jorginho to do something special. He didn't.
And so Thiago, having made quite an impact, been heavily involved in Liverpool's play, if not their 2 goals, and then conceding a penalty on his debut and being helped out by goalkeeper Alisson.
I mean, Liverpool are on the edge of Chelsea's box, and there's no pressure on Liverpool players at all. And I do mention it a lot, but if you can imagine 2 cuts of grass from the 18-yard line, Liverpool have got the ball and there's no pressure from Chelsea at all.
Now Salah has been fouled. Ball is given back to him. In fact, Firmino actually was hauled over as Salah was running at the penalty area. So it's a free kick in a good position for Liverpool. The score, Chelsea 0, Liverpool 2, and they have been well worth it.
There's a conversation to be had, I think. Mo Salah.
Well, it's left of centre, so it's a great position for Alexander-Arnold.
It is.
And Jurgen Klopp, Chelsea are going to make a double change very shortly. Tammy Abraham's been waiting to come on for some time. Frank Lampard thought again after everything surrounding the penalty, it would seem. Right, who's going to get who's going to pull rank here? It looks like it's going to be Alexander-Arnold to hit it. Salah is standing to the right of the ball. Salah just taps it, and then Alexander-Arnold has a swing at it, curls it goalwards, but over the angle of post and bar by a yard.
I think Salah really wanted that as well. He was disappointed. Here's that double substitution.
So it's Ross Barkley, who is going to come on, as he did on Monday night against Brighton when Chelsea were winning well down there towards the south coast. And the changes are Kovacic, who's made his first appearance of the season today, and also Jorginho, who was the captain at the start of the match. So the armband has gone elsewhere. Kante has got it on, has he? And Ross Barkley comes on into the midfield. As I mentioned earlier, scored a fine goal, if you remember, in the FA Cup against Liverpool here last season. Goal kick taken out short to Zuma, who was very uncomfortable and put under pressure by Salah, and has just knocked the ball out for a throw-in.
And that all comes from the goal.
Throw-in taken into the penalty area, but it bounces to Barkley. Sorry, Dion, on the edge of his own box. Liverpool come again, actually. Here's Mane. Mane picks out Salah. Salah, challenge from James. Good challenge as well, just outside the box. And Chelsea are able to clear it downfield for Tammy Abraham, to race after. But Van Dijk gets there first, and then Tammy Abraham bundles over James Milner.
Yeah, very clever that from James Milner. Just turns his back on Tammy, and Tammy's going at pace, can't stop, and really just takes the free kick, calms things down again. I mean, Liverpool are there, that goal kick. Liverpool are waiting for them to play short, Chelsea. They play into their hands. The keeper's pass to Zuma was terrible. Zuma's touch was terrible. Allows Liverpool to squeeze.
10 minutes to go. 10 minutes to go until the end of the match, plus added time. And then it'll be 6:06 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. Milner onto a throw down the left-hand side, and then across comes Tomori to blast it back into the Liverpool veteran. Can we call him that now?
Yes, we are allowed. I think he wouldn't mind that.
34 years old now, and it's out of play for a goal kick. But Kepa to take this awful moment for Kepa. You'll see it replayed and replayed and replayed. Match of the day tonight. There is a match of the day too as well, by the way, as well as the live match, which is on BBC One from 6:45. Watch it on BBC One, listen to it on 5 Live. Leicester against Burnley. Match of the day too, 10:30 tonight. I suspect Kepa won't be watching. Robertson takes the throw back to Van Dijk, and Liverpool with Thiago. And Wijnaldum will pass out towards the right-hand side, and then Liverpool go back into their own half. So after that exciting start last weekend against newly promoted Leeds United, this has been more like the control of Liverpool of last season. And the ball's played for Alexander-Arnold to run onto and clip it to the back post, and James is there. He wasn't sure where Mane was, so he leapt high and headed it wide of his own post and behind for a corner.
It's a lovely ball from Salah. Salah just goes really deep there, goes onto the toes of Fabinho, takes it off Fabinho, and then just plays the ball inside the left back and the left side centre half for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Nobody in the box on this occasion. And they cleared it for a corner, but so simple for Liverpool to get in.
Yeah, so simple. Robertson then with the corner to the near post, attempted flick. It was blocked away by Tammy Abraham, actually. And then Thiago goes for goal, but it bounces wide. He's saying that it took a flick, but referee Tierney says, nope, it didn't. It's a goal kick to Chelsea. So 2-0, Liverpool lead. And as I say, Exeter Northampton continues on 5 Live Sports Extra. You can listen to that on your digital radio or via BBC Sounds, where you'll also be able to find the new Football Daily podcast in the morning on BBC Sounds. Liverpool in danger of winning the ball back from Chelsea again on the edge of their own penalty area. Dyson with danger, Chelsea, but have just about been able to work it towards the halfway line. But Liverpool have it back. Salah to Firmino. Firmino has a look over his shoulder. Alonso arriving. And now Salah keeps the ball, puts his foot on it. He is looking very bright and very sharp, Salah, even though he's not got onto the score sheet today at the start of this new season. And then Van Dijk gives it to Salah with the ball forward. Wijnaldum to the right, Alexander-Arnold is there, and Liverpool go back towards the halfway line. Thiago cursed the ball, he's done far too much of that. And there's no, even Alexander-Arnold couldn't reach there.
I think he actually done Alexander-Arnold. He thought he was going to get it to his feet, but he put it into the corner. Another no-look pass.
Yes. Tomorrow he passes it to Kante on the edge of the D, who, wary of the threat of Wijnaldum, passed it straight back to Kepa. Long clearance from Kepa to Werner. Werner then plays it through to Abraham. Milner has a look. There's no flag yet. Abraham still going. Shoots from the angle. Good save. Alisson got down to his left to push it away across the penalty area. Mount. Then back to Werner. Thiago in with a challenge. Werner's gone down again inside the penalty area. But this time, referee Tierney ignores it. Kante back in the centre circle. Did he have a case there, Werner?
No, I don't think he did. I just think he overran it, and Thiago Alcantara just nipped in, took it off his toe, and I think it was James Milner that was keeping Tammy Abraham, playing Tammy Abraham onside. Flag stayed down.
I think on the evidence of what we've seen in Chelsea's first 2 matches of this season, Werner might win them a few penalties this season.
Yeah, absolutely. He's so lively and he's got so much pace, and you can see that he just wants to score goals and he wants to get chances, efforts on goal, should I say. But today they've just been totally outplayed. Yes, they are a man down, and it does make it incredibly difficult. But the energy levels from Chelsea, I would want to see a little bit more, even with 10 men.
Curtis Jones currently has the big, brawny arm of Jurgen Klopp wrapped around his back as he's about to come on as the final substitute of the match, the young Liverpudlian, a teenager, into the midfield. Wijnaldum. Now Firmino with a flick, and Salah is onto this, but Zuma is able to come across and put it behind for yet another Liverpool corner. And they've got 5 in the second half, 3 in the first. Chelsea have had 1. And actually, it's Minamino who's coming on. That arm of Jurgen Klopp's was so big, I couldn't see it was Minamino behind it. Yes. So Minamino is going to come on to replace Firmino. So that's the final change. Good all-round contribution from Firmino, who will feel that his position is under threat from the arrival of Jota, perhaps.
Yeah, he's got so much quality, respected so much by everybody in the footballing world for his contribution that a lot of people don't see. runs off the ball, unselfishness.
Corner taken short by Liverpool, then driven across in an outstretched leg of Tammy Abraham. Blocks the attempted centre from Milner for yet another Liverpool corner. 4 minutes to play. 6:06 will be following on pretty much as soon as this match is over. And we've wrapped things up here at Stamford Bridge, where Liverpool lead by 2-0 and have dominated the game as the corner comes in from the right-hand side, headed away by Tomori. Yes, Liverpool have dominated the game really from the moment that Andreas Christensen was sent off just before half-time for hauling over Sadio Mane. So he was involved in that as Salah now plays it in. Van Dijk with a chance and prods it straight at goalkeeper Kepa, who was able to take the ball into his chest.
Yeah, didn't need to take that down at all. Outside of the boot, cross there from Salah, edge of the box, and I'm pretty sure that Virgil van Dijk could have headed that. He tried to chest it down and take too many touches. It could have been 3 quite easily. Chelsea have got away with one there.
I could see you twitching there, Dion.
Oh, I was up at the far post there, John. I was up.
That was right in your bolt house.
Oh my gosh, yes.
As they say. Chelsea 0, Liverpool 2, but not so much Virgil van Dijk, even though he did get on the score sheet last weekend. Liverpool leading by 2-0. The number to call to speak to Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton is 08085 909 693. Wijnaldum down the left-hand side for Liverpool. Wijnaldum couldn't keep the ball in. It's a throw to Chelsea deep inside their own right-back position. Liverpool's next 2 matches are 5 live commentary matches. Thursday night at Lincoln City in the Carabao Cup. We'll have commentary and coverage of all of those matches Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all sorts of kick-off times again. That will start at 6 o'clock Tuesday for the Leyton Orient Tottenham match, when I would have thought it would be a very much changed Tottenham team, as I'm sure it will be Liverpool as well. Chelsea playing the ball away from the back. And then Liverpool at home to Arsenal a week on Monday, the next 2 matches. So that one looks very interesting. Here's Werner on the left-hand side, right 2 challenges. Werner now off and running towards the penalty area. Plays the ball forward, but way beyond Mount and through for Alisson to field it quite comfortably with his right foot.
Yeah, just very busy. Timo Werner busy getting the ball at his feet, trying to make things happen for his team. By the time he's beat a player, gone past the first wave of press, he's got another wave and there's no other blue shirts around him. He's trying to find something a little bit too extravagant. On that occasion it didn't come off, but I can see a lot of what he's going to bring to Chelsea this season.
Very much, yeah. That much is obvious, and it's a shame really we've been able to see so little of Kai Havertz today.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Who had to be sacrificed.
You can see the quality, John, though, can't you? You can see the quality that they have when the ball's at their feet.
Yeah, so there'll certainly be better days than this, you would hope, from Frank Lampard's point of view for Chelsea this season. And things, as they say, very much still settling down with this new look Chelsea squad. Robertson on the left-hand side, curling it in. It's headed away by Zuma. Comes out for Alexander-Arnold. Now Minamino, yet to score in the Premier League for Liverpool. Played in from the right-hand side, but Chelsea are able to get that away through Tomori. Comes back again into the box. Robertson drives it across. That's blocked by Reece James. And it ricochets away to Werner, who back heels it back to James. And now Kante, who's running down cul-de-sac there.
That was a huge example of Liverpool playing the game like they did in the first minute to the very, very last minute. Squeezing Kante, he normally wriggles out with a pass or with the ball. 5 red shirts around him. He's opposite the dugout. He's got nowhere to go.
If you were on Match of the Day tonight with Mark Chapman, you'd have had that. You'd have that cut out, wouldn't you?
Most definitely.
For a little piece of analysis.
100%. It just shows the attitude of the champions. And they gave each other a bit of a high five after that as well. Alcantara there, high fiving Milner after that stupid bit of squeezing. But it's not stupid, it's what you've been told to do. That's how you win games. That's how you win championships. Do as you're told on the pitch.
So it is another corner for Liverpool. Robertson comes across to take it. And Milner wants it short. And he gets it. And gives it back to Robertson, who plays it back to Thiago, whose pass is cut out, but it bounces back to Liverpool. But Milner coming back from an offside position. Free kick to Chelsea, deep inside their own territory. So into added time, 6:06 coming your way very shortly with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. Book your call on 08 085 909 693, and we will try and bring you the live interviews during the course of 6:06 with Frank Lampard and Jurgen Klopp and whoever else we are offered to talk to. So listen out for that as well. And then after 6:06, a little later on from 9 o'clock, commentary on the final round of the US Open Golf. Here's Mane. He's going to try a shot from distance, and it was bending. Might have taken a flick actually off Tomori, but Kepa had to be at full extension to push that away around the foot of the post.
Yeah, Mane must have full 25, 30 yards out, and I'm thinking just play it wide to Milner. He's there, safe pass, and he has a go, and it hits Tomori, and nearly wrong foots Kepa.
Corner is taken short by Liverpool again. I think Mane had a little look there and thought, do you know what, I'm going to have a go for the hat-trick. And now Alexander-Arnold shoots from 22 yards, but that's blocked on the edge of the penalty area. And Chelsea play it out towards Alonso on the left-hand side. So what would you say about Chelsea then, Dion? I mean, they've cut us quite a sorry look for the second half. The sending off, obviously,
yes,
completely changed the game.
No, it did, and ever since that, they've looked pretty deflated, and I think Liverpool have made them look deflated, flying in their face, making sure that Chelsea have none of the ball at all, like this.
Thiago finding Mane on the left-hand side. Mane up against Reece James, then into the box. A lovely turn by Salah, shoots, it bounces after being saved by Kepa, right to the feet of Wijnaldum, who had an open goal, and it hit him and bounced wide.
Yeah, he was actually sprinting as quick as he possibly could to try and get any bits that were there. The bits did come his way. The ball came to him as quick as he was going to the ball, and he had no chance of getting that towards goal.
It hit Kepa,
yeah,
bounced into Wijnaldum, and then bounced away and behind. And the final whistle has been blown by Paul Tierney, and it's been Liverpool's day, the champions' day, no question about that. After a really disappointing first half, the match completely changed when Andreas Christensen was correctly sent off. VAR made the call on that just before half-time when he hauled over Mane, who was running through. He would have had a one-on-one with Kepa, who was... And after that, Thiago second half, ball through Sadio Mane. The second of them, a bad mistake by Kepa, who passed the ball straight to him. And even though Jorginho had his penalty saved by Alisson, comprehensively Liverpool's day, and a really disappointing start to the season here at Stamford Bridge for Chelsea.
Yeah, it was a disappointing day for Chelsea. I do believe that really good stuff to come from Chelsea. I've seen flashes today, Havertz and Timo Werner looking very sharp on the ball. Wasn't their day today. Liverpool were far, far better in every